Oh, that was delayed,
Hmm.
but it's still all good. We're
Yep.
back. We are back. I'm not sick anymore. Feeling good. Ready to go. We got another
Not blowing our
episode.
noses.
No tissue box near me. Um, we're here. The season has concluded. We are going to pick our team of the season. Collectively, we're going to work together to build what we think is the team of the season for the Premier League. But first, we're going to go through some transfers, some rumors, and before that, Europa League. But right now, we got to at least put a close on the season and talk about relegation. Uh,
We do.
do we have any drinks from the last week of the season before we start?
Yeah. So just checking it on the very last week of the season. So for pick'ems, it looks like I barely edged you out. I ended up tied for second place on the week. You were just behind by 20 points. So a drink for you there. However, being that the season is now over, you did finish in third
Oh,
place in
I was in
pick'em.
second for a minute. Damn.
You ended up down 80 points, but still from where we were to start the season, great job by you. I ended up tied for fifth. So we both climbed off the bottom of the table, so we can be proud of that.
It's amazing how bad we were at the beginning of the season.
We we were really bad to start the year. Okay, over on fantasy, let's see. You finished in third place for the week, and I finished in fourth place. So we both weren't at the bottom, but I'll take a drink for you beating me out. And with the season now concluded, I officially have finished dead last in the pool
Oh,
by a whopping 160 points, which is
DFL.
basically losing by almost like 3, 4, 5 weeks worth of points. So really, really bad showing by me. So I'll take a few for that one.
Yeah, you take a few. We did have our last prop bet, so any of the underdogs hit on those prop bets?
Oh yeah, I didn't actually check that yet. So we had from last week, you had picked Bournemouth at Everton. We know Everton won.
Yeah,
And then I had Brighton at Aston Villa, and I believe they lost, right? Let's do a quick check. Brighton lost, yeah. So we both
okay, so we
actually
both
take
take
a drink for
drinks.
that one.
Okay.
hmm I had no red cards to finish the season, so no drinks for that.
Makes sense. All right, well, you said it. Everton beat Bournemouth, and by doing so, they stay up again by the skin of their teeth.
Barely.
And teams going down: Southampton, Leeds, Leicester City. Unbelievable. Were you able to watch it live or listen live by the radio?
Oh no! So I was meaning to tell you this. I was so mad. So I told you I'd spoke the wonders of Premier League radio when I listened to it earlier this season. For whatever reason, this last day of the season, it was blacked out. I couldn't find it
What?
anywhere online to listen to. I was so mad. I didn't have any way to watch because I don't have Peacock. So I
Oh man.
truly had to just check stats live online and then wait for the highlights to watch. But it would have been really fun to listen live because I'm sure there's a lot of stuff going on simultaneously.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a little more exciting, but Leeds goes down 0-2, and it really was just I ended up just watching the Everton match because that's basically what it came down to.
hmm
Um, and it was an exciting match. I think Bournemouth played them hard. They definitely had chances, but the last, basically after they got the goal, like the last 15, 20 minutes of the game was real choppy. It wasn't a
hmm
very entertaining match other than the intensity, but, you know, they were constantly just trying to clear the ball out, waste some clock, do all that. So it wasn't, and Bournemouth kind of lost not their hope, but like their tenacity as the game went on because they were just kind of like whatever. It's just
Yeah,
gonna, you know.
as you expect.
Yeah. But it was still a good game. That goal by Decore, it was amazing. Um,
Oh my God, that was great.
you know that felt good when he ripped that.
Oh Yeah, that was awesome. It's awesome to see goals like that in games like that, right? In games that really, really matter, and it's not just like, somebody the ball bouncing off somebody's knee, off the goalie, off the post, but an actual good goal in a game like that. It's celebrated so hard.
Yeah.
The fans were so into it. It was really cool to see.
So aftermath of that, obviously Everton barely make it. They were getting shit on by their fans for uh, basically just running the team into the ground, making some horrible decisions, not acquiring new players, and they barely made it. It was interesting. I don't know if they showed it on the highlights, but when I was watching the match, after the match, there were like two different groups of Everton fans. Some that were
Hmm.
celebrating, and others that were like mad, like that they were
Pissed.
even in this position. Yeah, just like frustrated.
Hmm.
So it was really interesting to see that for a team that was celebrating staying
Yeah,
up, and then half of
that
them were
definitely is
like, "We
not the
shouldn't
vibe
even be in
last year
this."
when they stayed up. It felt like everyone was celebrating last year. But they didn't make many pickups in the season, but they did make their most important pickup by bringing in Sean Dyche. I got to give him props for that. That was the right guy to bring in at the right time to change that club. We saw, a lot of these relegation managers come in at the last minute, but he's the one that really showed his chops in this one. Really good pickup and decision by them amongst all the really poor decisions they had this year and bad management of the club. That was one thing they got right, and it worked out very well for them.
No doubt. Uh, what do you think they do next season? Like, what do they got to do to get off the bottom?
I mean, I feel like they got to figure out the ownership sort of team management situation. It's just the way the club's being run right now. They're going to be in the same position they are this year, next year, right? Just like we saw this year. I think coming in this year, they had a lot more hope with Lampard at the coach as the coach, maybe like developing younger players. But obviously, that went to shit real quick. So I don't know. I feel like a club without a direction. I feel like Dyche is somebody you could build around if he's on board to like develop and build a club, but I don't know. I don't know if he is on board. I haven't heard him speak. How long is this contract? I don't know. So that could be a direction they go, but it really feels like their sole focus was on getting to the finish line, and now they're going to be in this like, what do we do now mode, once the celebration phase is over.
Yeah, they got to bring in some more talent. They just have to.
Oh, yeah.
They have to hold on to Onana, and they need to bring in somebody. They still.
It feels like they just struck out on so many. They have brought in young players and stuff over the last couple of years, right? And it's just all strikeouts. It feels like.
Yeah, just get a veteran in there. Get someone that you know is talented, that is gonna help the team. I don't know. They need something. Um, okay, you want to talk about the teams going down? We can say our last goodbyes.
I know we got to say some remembrances for Leicester City, Leeds, and Southampton going down. Of the three, the one we'll talk about first is Leicester. The one of the three that really shouldn't have been going down with the squad they have, with the money they're paying for the squad they have, the players they've brought in. Not a team that should have been in the position that they were in. 9 wins, 22 losses on the season, minus 17 goal differential. It I feel like this is a club you could feel same thing you were talking about the Everton fans. I feel like the fans would probably be split for Leicester. There's going to be the fans that think they just got really unlucky, right? That they didn't play their best, but two, three, four things break a different direction in any of these games, and they're staying alive, and Everton isn't, right? So kind of the luck of the draw, or the other side of that just like Everton, a that's been mismanaged over the last couple years, they haven't made the right decisions, brought in the right players. But regardless, you look at the roster on paper, it was good enough to stay up. So really, really disappointing for those fans.
That's the difference. They have the talent to stay up. They should not be in this position. The Everyone takes responsibility for this one. Like, it's just
Mm-hmm.
it's just inexcusable. I feel like, I don't know. It we talked about it at the beginning of the year. They were at the bottom like basically the whole time. We're like, they'll move up. They'll
Yeah,
move up. They have the talent. They'll move
yeah.
up. They're like, Madison's back. They'll be fine. And they just never got going. And
We're looking at teams like Nottingham and Bournemouth, right? And we're like, they're better than those teams, right? Like they'll find a way to meander up to 15th, 14th place at least. That was the mindset and mentality.
and
And they just
never
found a way to
did.
go the opposite direction. Yeah, just they never figured it out.
Okay, I have a little bonus trivia question for you. So they won the Premier League and are now being relegated. Since, what was it, 92, when the Premier League started, the modern Premier League? Only one other team has had this happen to them. Do you know what team it was?
In the modern Premier League, within how many years?
Since
This
like
amount of years?
92? Any
But
amount.
the same
Any.
amount.
A title winning team got relegated.
Oh, I think Blackburn won.
Yeah, Blackburn is the other team.
To Blackburn,
I think it
yeah.
was 94, 95, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, somewhere in the
crazy.
90s, yeah.
It's only the second time it's ever happened.
I have another crazy stat for you. So I have a trivia later. I was going to go into. There's finally a full list of the full wage costs for each team from the season that just went by. Where do you think Leicester City is on this list? This is all of clubs in Europe,
Oh, not just the Premier League? Not just England?
not just the Premier League.
Oh, well, that makes it much harder. Well, I would guess that they are middle of the pack of the Premier League, which means they'd probably be ahead of most teams in other leagues outside of like the top two or three. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe like 25th.
They're the 15th highest wage bill, and they just got relegated
Dang.
in Europe.
Dang.
That's pretty
Dang.
crazy.
So what do they do now? Are they able to keep the players?
Well, I mean, the news is starting to roll out. The only one I've heard officially that's out is Tielemans. A lot of the players probably have clauses in their contracts to, if the team is relegated, that they're allowed to leave, on their own volition, basically. The only one I've heard confirmed is Tielemans, but obviously a lot of assumptions
Vardy's
that
staying.
Madison, yeah, a lot of assumptions though that Madison will be sold. Maybe somebody like Iheanacho. Some of the younger players, Justin James, or James Justin, those guys, Dewsbury Hall, I could see those guys, them reloading what they can financially to buy some young guys and try and redevelop. But I feel like a lot like Everton, it's going to be really tough direction for them to go. So, there is no obvious direction right now, who to keep, who not to keep.
Yeah.
And they're going to be some dire financial straits for a little while.
All right. Well, Lester, here's to you. Hopefully we see you back next year because I like Lester. We love you.
Oh, we love you guys.
Cheers.
Please come back. Please bring Barty back to the Premier League.
I know. I want to see Vardy playing when he's like 44, just coming in for 15 minutes. Still sprinting his ass
just
off.
give him, come and get a red card real quick and goal and a red card and I'm out.
Oh, man, he's so good. Yeah, so they went down, and
yes.
the next Leeds is they were slipping off the cliff for a while, and then they finally hit the ground. I feel like looking at their team, they just didn't have enough. Once Adams went down, it was like, okay, you guys are done. What was bummer was that Aronson was terrible the second half of the season. He had a promising start to the year. He was awful the second half of the season. I don't know what happened with him.
I know. I think it kind of was like a snowball effect, and then once Marsh was gone, it was just there was no hope of him finding his way. I feel like so. Yeah, that was really disappointing. McKinney came in and was pretty disappointing in the limited amount of time he had there.
I still feel
You're
like
right. They just
used
didn't
him wrong.
something was off with it all. Either he's injured or they did put him in the right position. It's just, and the fans hated him from the very beginning that he was there. I don't know if you heard, but I guess as he got subbed off in that final game, the fans were chanting "You fat bastard" to him as he
Oh
was walking off the
no.
field. Yeah.
Calling him out of
So
shape.
he's definitely leaving and going back to Juventus. But yeah, they didn't have enough talent for a Premier League team, particularly on the defensive side.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Everton we talked about already, they did not make the right moves that they really needed in the transfer window. They needed solid, dependable defenders. They went instead and got like two really young defenders that weren't ready to play in the Premier League, and then more offensive help and midfield help, right? Which is just not what they really needed. And they really paid for it when it came down to the end. They just could not stop the other teams.
Yeah.
Every game they had a chance, they would give up goals no matter what. It just was
They gave up
a given.
78 goals. 78 goals.
It's crazy. What is that? That's 78 divided by 38.
It's
That's
over 2 a game.
over 2 a game.
You can't.
You're
No,
never gonna win games like
no,
that.
no. And they actually had an attacking edge to them. Like they were capable going forward. They were just so bad on defense. So
Yep.
yeah, that's their clear issue. They need to address it if they want to make it back. And then Southampton, their fate was sealed for weeks. Same old story. They kind of just sucked all around. Terrible defense, terrible offense. Ward Prowse was the only shining star on that team. But
Yeah,
just
they
not
they
enough.
went with the strategy from the start of the year. Let's go get young guys that we think can show up and grow, right? And, be surprise bargain signings for us that are going to help us. And none of them were consistent enough or able to really give them enough to stay up. They just, of all the teams, they ended up where they should have. They were the least talented team,
Yeah.
the least complete team, and they got what they deserved in
It
the
was,
end.
as it always is in the Premier League, a tough year to be a mid-level bottom half team. Real tough.
Every year, yeah. There are no tank years in the Premier League.
Oh,
You're
that's what
out.
makes it so awesome. That's what makes it so awesome.
You are out. So speaking of, I was going to jump in and do a one of my trivia questions earlier. Uh, but speaking of these relegation teams, I had a list here of all the manager changes that happened in the Premier League this year.
Ooh.
Let me get this real quick. And essentially where is it at? There we go. So basically, after teams changed managers, did they go up or down in positions, essentially,
I
with the
like
new
this. I
manager?
like this.
Yeah. So first question for you is I'll tell you right now, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 manager changes in the season. Some teams more than once.
Correct, yeah.
So we had Southampton twice. We had Leeds twice. And then we had Tottenham twice, right? So some of those were more than once. Which of the
Wait,
manager
wasn't Chelsea
changes?
twice also?
Sorry, yeah, Chelsea twice as well. Yeah, so multiple. Was that 3 or 4 that did more than once? So, which of the manager changes do you think had the biggest impact on their team changing position in the table? I'll tell you right now, the number was the best manager change led to the team going up 10 places in the table.
That's got to be Brighton when they lost Potter. That would be my guess.
It's not
Wow.
Brighton. Okay, so sorry. So, well, no, they were doing well already with Potter. That doesn't count as a firing, right? Because he got traded basically. He
Oh,
got bought.
he's
So
excluded.
he's not actually on the list. This is just fired coaches. But I think they were still they were doing well when he left. So I don't think they
Yeah.
changed that much in position.
Okay. Um I'm not sure.
It was
I'm going to go It can't be
Oh, go for
Dyche
it.
because they stayed low. So
No, it wasn't Dyche.
I'm not
It
sure.
was the sacking of Steven Gerrard.
Oh, that's right. That was
Aston
so
Villa
early
ended up
on.
10 places higher by the end of the season after he left.
Yes, the Spanish wonder himself got him
Okay,
going. Yeah.
so my next question was going to be what change do you think was the worst for their team? So after the manager was fired, they ended up the most places lower in the season than any other team.
I mean, our boy Frankie Lampard didn't win a game. He just lost and lost and lost. So I got to go with him.
Well, no. So he started the season as the coach. So basically, he got fired. So his win loss wouldn't count. Are you talking about at Chelsea?
Yeah, but
Oh, okay, sorry.
he
He's not on the list.
Potter was fired,
They actually only
and he came in.
dropped one place.
Oh, damn. Okay,
Yeah.
so his placement, yeah. Wow, they were so bad. I can't believe they only dropped one place.
It was a different Chelsea change. It was the span between when they got rid of Tuchel and then got rid of Potter. They dropped
Uh,
6 places in the table.
I knew it was Chelsea. It had to be.
So the Tuchel, essentially, what this tells you is the Tuchel was the worst coaching move of the year,
Mm-hmm.
essentially, and then Gerrard was the best coaching move of the year, getting rid of him, and lots of in between.
And all the other ones didn't do anything to help.
Essentially, yeah. Wolves was solid. They went up 5 places after getting rid of Bruno Lage, and then the next best were Bournemouth getting rid of Scott Parker, and then Everton getting rid of Lampard. They
Yeah.
both moved up 2 places.
I think you would agree that it's too ridiculous how quickly they turn on coaching. It doesn't have as much as an effect as the teams think it is.
Very true. Very, very true.
I think if you look at the clubs that have stability at the coaching position, they are good. It's usually a positive thing. I don't understand why you have a month of bad play and you just cut the coach out. Like, how does that help your team? I don't understand that at all.
Especially not in a league like this where there is no, like we just said it, there is no tanking year, right? There is no rebuild year. You want to keep continuity. You want to keep unity of the team. That is something that cannot be emulated or imitated by bringing in a new coach. Like
Yeah.
it counts for so much more in a league like this than other sports where you can take a quote unquote season off and make a coaching change and let them get settled in the position and figure out how they want to change things. There's just no time for that. So I'm shocked at how often it happens and how much of a difference people think it really will make. The data there shows a couple of them made really big differences.
Oh yeah.
Basically two, maybe three of the changes had really big changes, but all the other ones, either the team got worse or they stayed the same, right? So the majority of the changes this year really didn't have an impact. So it tells you that it really does seem unfair.
It's stupid. I think that it's a fallacy to think that, hey, we have all the talent here. We just need different tactics. We need to bring someone in that's going to use the talent properly. And I don't think that's always the case. Can it happen that way? Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's not unheard of. I mean, that's a fair point, but it's not the norm.
yeah, exactly. All right, that was a good one. Um, all right, well, I'm going to drink one for Leeds and one for Southampton. And I may just finish what I have because we mentioned like 3 American players with Leeds. So
Yeah, we did.
cheers for that one.
Here's to you guys.
Leeds fans, I love you. I want you back.
We
I
want
want
you
you
back.
back. I want this team. I think this team is good enough to get back in the league. I'm hoping they can hold on to what they have and just build on that defense. They need help.
Hmm. Yeah, and hopefully some of these young guys they brought in another year to develop. Maybe they really will be good defenders, right? And they will have a strong defense for the future. But it just didn't work out this year. So there's some things you can lean on as hope as a Leeds fan.
For sure. All right, let's talk Europa League. I didn't watch any of the Europa League until the final, and I watched the highlights because I heard of the drama. So, why don't you just walk us through your take on the penalties, because that's where the drama starts and the questioning
Yeah,
starts.
so we had Sevilla against Roma in the finals. Jose Mourinho back in a European final for the first time in a while. I believe coming into this game, he had an undefeated record in European finals. I believe
Did you see
that's
him?
a true.
Did you see him throwing shade at Tottenham any chance he got?
No, I missed that. He was just digging in.
Yeah, he was
How,
basically
how,
like, uh, I can't. I'm gonna butcher the quote, but he basically said like, "Oh yeah, Tottenham was the only place that um, that fired
I
me
didn't win.
before I could win a trophy, and because they got rid of him like right before the cup final." Uh, yeah, and he was making fun of him, so it was
He
funny.
was just going after him. Yeah, so we had Sevilla against Roma in the final. Pretty tight game. A few penalty shouts and whatnot during the game. It ended up tied 1-1. Goes in extra time. Ends up 1-1 at the end of extra time. Goes into penalty kicks. And Roma proceeds to send up a defensive midfielder for the first penalty. Makes it. Then proceeds to send up their two center backs for their second and third penalty kicks, with players like El Shaarawy, Wijnaldum, Belotti on the field. They send their two center backs up. They both miss, and Sevilla doesn't miss a penalty kick. They ended up taking it 4-2 after a retake on the last kick where the goalie came off the line early.
The retake.
And I do not understand the decision. I cannot. We talked about this before when we had England taking penalties, right? And we talked about it with Sterling. How are you a forward? Okay, I can get it if maybe one of those guys is like the designated you take the last penalty, right? Like maybe they're like you take the fifth one, right? So I could see an excuse for maybe one of those guys, but for three guys like that of that stature to not be taking penalty, any of the penalties, it's unreal. Cannot understand it.
That's the thing. The Sterling one, when they had Saka take it, when Saka was like 19, and
Yeah.
Sterling was like supposed to be their best player, I can almost guarantee you that Sterling was the one that was like, I don't want to take this. I'm not confident. In this situation, to have two, not one, but two defensive players take it, do you think it's the coaching decision, or do you think it's the players being like, nah, I'm good? I feel like it's the coaching decision to do that, but I don't understand why.
I don't get it either. I mean, I don't understand it especially from Mourinho.
We know he loves his defenders, though.
We know he loves his defenders, but I'm trying to think of teams he's coached in the past that have gone to penalties.
I need to see what his press conference was after that and see what he
So
said.
so that's a little bit of what I wanted to talk about. So after the game, he went on an absolute tirade of the referee, who was the English referee. What's his name? Anthony Taylor is his name. So we see him all the time in the Premier League. He went off on him, called him a disgrace, terrible. I guess he actually confronted him in the parking lot.
Dude, I saw a video of Anthony Taylor getting accosted by Roma fans.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to talk about. Yeah, and so Mourinho kind of stirs up this kind of mob riot mentality about the referee. He goes to fly home with his parents out of the Budapest not with his parents, his family, his wife and his daughter, out of the Budapest airport, and they are getting violently harassed by Roma fans, throwing chairs, beers, water at them, shoving them as they're trying to like
just
get
through the
escorted
airport.
Just trying to get through the airport to fly home to England, and it was just one of the craziest things I've seen. Security standing around like not doing anything while these fans like literally look like they're ready to like beat him to death as he's just trying to go home with his family. His daughter was crying, I guess. I didn't actually see that, but I guess she was like in tears.
Yeah.
So just crazy stuff happening after the game with what Mourinho kind of stirred up.
Yeah, it's terrible. Look, we love soccer. We love the passion. We love the fans, but you can't do that. Like, I saw like a grown man. He was like he couldn't have been less than 50 years old, just harassing the hell out of this guy. And it's like, dude,
Yeah.
is there no like awareness or perspective on things to be like, yes, this is an important match, but it's just a match.
This is a game.
This guy's with his family, and you're throwing beer at him, and oh my god, it's disgusting. It's just disgusting. And to your point about Mourinho stirring all this up, it's probably just a deflection from the dumbass decision he made.
Exactly.
Which is fucked up.
I mean, it feels like it might be a little bit of his MO, and it's pretty disappointing to think about it that way, but it's probably true. And the reality is, I mean, I watched the highlights. I didn't see the whole game, right? But there were some really tough calls in that game. I don't really feel like he got anything wrong. And if anything, that penalty that he reversed would have gone against Roma, right? Like, there was like at least 2 or 3 calls that if he had called it the other way, that would have hurt Roma. So I don't understand like the hate towards him. Like, there were some really tough calls in the game. There was nothing blatantly obvious that he screwed up that I saw, or that was blatantly against Roma. So it's literally just people taking out their anger on a scapegoat, basically, for no reason.
It's horrible. Yeah, it's really, really embarrassing. Yeah, it's a bummer. But on a positive note, Sevilla wins their 7th Europa League title. 7. It's amazing. It's truly amazing. So it's this second tier tournament, and Sevilla is just that perfect team that is never good enough to win or to stay in the Champions League, but is always in Europa and is good enough to beat those second tier teams. It's pretty cool.
Always.
I mean, if you're not going to be Real Madrid or Barcelona, you might as well be Sevilla. That's amazing.
I know, and I loved the passion, the passion that I saw from both the fans and the team when they won. It literally felt like a Champions League final. Like, there were tears. They were celebrating like they won the World Cup.
Well,
and it was so awesome to see.
That's the highest they can get. They're never going to win a Champions League final.
They achieve. I know they kind of achieved their top target, and they celebrated that way, which is really cool to see. And the fans too were just as stoked and amped, running on the field. Really, really cool. And then another little side note, we talked about a little bit earlier, but the winning penalty kick was scored by Montiel, who also scored the winning penalty kick for Argentina in the World Cup. So he has 2 trophy-winning penalty kicks after extra time.
Year. That's amazing. Dude, just retire. Just retire right there.
I know. Just what more what more could you do? I mean,
oh, I know. World Cup.
Everything's downhill from here, man.
World Cup winning penalty, and then Europa League final winning penalty. Pretty sick. That's awesome.
Pretty sick.
That's so cool. All right, so that was Europa League. It is the season of transfer rumors, so here we go. Let's hit all the new transfer rumors. This is just from last week, which is crazy. We have a list of like 15 deep. I put this at the top of my list. You kind of put your list beneath mine, so this isn't in order of maybe importance or price or anything, but I thought this was hilarious. Chelsea's bidding £150 million for Vinicius Jr. from Real Madrid. Chelsea's not giving up. We spent more money.
Let's go spend some more money.
Let's go spend some more, man. When in doubt, let's spend more money. And hey,
more money, more
Vinicius
problems.
Jr. would fix a lot of their problems. He is a fantastic player. Yeah. He's like 22, maybe 23 once the season starts, something like that.
Damn, is he really that young still?
He's still so young. And
wow.
And he is a force on the offensive end. So I think that
he's everything Mudryk was supposed to be this year for them. That he would actually
do
be
him like that. God damn.
Hey, Modric
No,
Mudryk's still young, so he could still develop into that. But they were hoping for him to be like Vinicius this year when they brought him in.
yeah, well, they should have played him then because he sat his ass on the bench half the time.
They got a lot of stuff to work out.
Yeah,
That's
they
a lot
do.
of money to be spending, but he is a player of the caliber that might, obviously at an overprice, still probably worth that range of money
But
with the age that you mentioned.
I don't see Real Madrid letting him go though.
Oh no, I don't
Yeah,
see
I don't
that at
see that
all.
happening. I just I
No, you
can't
can't.
see that. Yeah,
I can't.
unless
Yeah,
he's so pissed about that racial stuff that he's just like, "Fuck you guys, I'm out." Which I would
yeah.
respect the hell out of if he
I
did
mean, I
that.
would, but I don't see it.
Yeah. Okay, speaking of Real Madrid, Bellingham to Real Madrid is apparently a done deal, allegedly.
Okay.
It's supposed to be like £100 million deal, and he's already said his goodbyes to Dortmund. Is what I read, and that's kind of been what people have been saying for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually believe this one. I think it's going to happen.
Seems to be what all the news is about. I think we talked about it a little bit last time about there was a rumor about him going to like Man City, and we didn't really think that was the right type of team for him. I feel like Real Madrid is more of the type of team that he should be on. It's a better fit for his skill set
I agree.
and how he can kind of control the game. Uh, it's crazy to hear that he's $50 million less than Vinicius.
Well, that's the Chelsea price. Chelsea always ups it, but like,
Chelsea says, "Hey, we'll throw in a few extra tens of millions of dollars for you."
what's the price? Let's just flip our middle finger up and double it. How about that? That's the Chelsea way.
Oh man, dude, just you can't say no money is Chelsea's move
Yeah, exactly.
always.
Exactly. They overpaid
Yeah,
for
I think a
everyone.
good move for Bellingham. I would be a little concerned that maybe it's a big jump up in stage for him. He seems capable. He's played on the World Cup stage. He's played in big games for Dortmund, but Real Madrid is the ultimate stage. So there's always a little bit of concern with these young guys taking that step up. So a
And
little bit of doubt in the back of the mind, but I think he's a good pickup and a good play.
I definitely agree. It's cool in a way to see how Real Madrid is going young in the midfield with kind of the sun setting on Modric, Cruz, and they already lost Casemiro. So
Mm-hmm.
now it's, you know, Camavinga, Chouameni will probably get more run, and Bellingham. It's all these young.
Valverde. Yep.
Valverde's still there. Yeah, it's all these young guys, and it's pretty cool to see.
It's looking good for them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So speaking of the older generation, so we did get some news over the last day or two that it does appear that both Modric and Benzema are going to stay for one more season. I guess they both have a contract that actually expires next season. A lot of people thought they would both be looking to leave in this offseason, particularly Modric. Benzema was more of a 50-50. It seemed like Modric was on his way out, but it looks like he will be doing kind of a farewell tour year.
Nice.
Probably great person to bring in Bellingham alongside to learn from for a season.
Hmm.
So probably really a win-win for both the team and for him.
I like that.
So it'll truly be a transition year for Real Madrid. It feels like we've been kind of on that, I think, for like 2 years now. Even when they won the Champions League, it was like these guys are getting old. How are they still doing this? So this next year, I think, will be the real transition year.
Yeah, I thought Benzema was gone. He was going to the Saudis, but
Yeah, I guess it was a change of heart last minute because it seemed like all the news out was him taking off for $200 million. But
crazy.
who knows what Real Madrid pulled at the last minute? But he changed his mind and he's sticking around for one more season.
I would prefer that. I hate guys just taking the check and going somewhere where no one's going to watch them play anymore to play in some terrible league.
Hmm.
It's lame. So
Agreed.
that's cool. I'm glad they're staying because they're gonna be a force next season, no matter how old those two guys are.
Yeah, great. I mean, obviously they have the money to spend, but we saw Chelsea had the money to spend, did not make the right moves.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like Real Madrid's very consistently making the right moves and who they bring in.
Yeah. Yeah, and then last Real Madrid news is Asensio. So what I read is he is officially leaving Madrid. It's just not official where he's going to end up. However,
Okay.
there are multiple suitors for him, but it sounds like he is eyeing PSG as the team he's going to go with. But I think there were a couple English teams looking at him, and then PSG. But I think he's probably going to end up on PSG, according to the article I was looking at.
Yeah, that's the same thing I looked at and saw, that mostly being that they have the money to pay the wages that he wants. So I think
Yeah, makes sense.
I think there's a financial reason for why he wants to go there more than anything else.
Yeah, he just
But
goes
I
from
was
Real Madrid
shocked.
to the French Real Madrid.
I was shocked to hear. I think he's only like 27. I thought he was like 31,
Well, that's because
32.
he's been at Real Madrid for like 10 seasons.
And
Actually,
he came in at like
7. I think it was 7.
when he came in at like 18 or something. Now that after I saw that, I was thinking about it. I was like, that's right. He started so young and so good.
He's a great player.
Great player. He had injury. He's never been quite as athletic after his injury, but he's still really good, really skilled, still capable, and still young. I mean, after seeing his age, I'm not surprised there's going to be multiple suitors for him.
Yeah. Okay. This one surprised me. I guess Gundogan's contract is up and they haven't reached a new deal yet. So Man City was talking to Fabian Ruiz as a replacement for Gundogan if they can't figure it out with Gundogan. I think this would be a huge step down from. I'm a huge Gundogan fan, and he had an amazing season this year, and he fits really well with the team. I don't know how they don't re-sign him or try to get him to come back. You know, like I don't know. I hope this move doesn't happen.
I hope it doesn't happen. And Fabian Ruiz is not a replacement for him. I mean, Fabian Ruiz is a decent, good player, but he does not do as well of a job of sort of the linkage, short passing type of plays that Gundogan does for Man City. He's probably maybe a slightly better defender, like a defensive midfielder and holding midfielder. But what Gundogan brings in sort of linking the midfield and the attack, I do not think Ruiz would be a fill-in for that.
Yeah, they're completely different players. I don't buy it either. Yeah, I don't think it happens. I hope it doesn't happen anyways.
Yeah, no, not a smart move, I don't think.
And then I saw Galatasaray was trying to poach Paredes off of Juventus. Ever since I think Paredes is criminally overrated, so
yeah,
I think,
agreed.
Like, go for it. If I were
Juventus, that seems like, it feels like
it.
the right place for him to go.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, so another jumping back to Man City real quick. So one of the latest rumors I heard was Man City is also interested, I guess, in addition to this Fabian Ruiz rumor, in bringing in Kovacic from Chelsea as another midfielder. Maybe once again, if Gundogan is leaving, another midfielder to bring in. Once again, does not do the same stuff Gundogan does, but somebody you could put into the midfield.
But I think he could be a great John Stones replacement, if you ask me.
Yeah.
In that role John Stones was playing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cheers to John Stones. He had a good season. He played that role well. He really impressed me with how much he's improved. But I think Kovacic could probably up that a little bit, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think his style is much more fitting of the offensive style of Man City. Like, he's that type of player that fits in well with those guys. The quick passing, give and go, triangle passing, take the ball on the turn type of players. John Stones was good in the position he played, but it doesn't, every time you watch it, no matter how well he plays, I still don't feel like he fits in.
Like, he's
like
good.
His style just doesn't quite match everything else going on around him.
He's just so awkward looking going forward. You know what I mean? Or like, even if he's going like sideways. when he's not
Yeah.
defending, he just looks awkward to me. And
Hmm.
like I said, he played really well this year. He was an important part of their team, but I do think that is one of the few areas of the Man City team that they could improve.
Yeah. Yeah, they gotta, you always got to be tinkering and trying to get the best team out there. So, like we said, I think we talked about it last week. We expect them to bring in a couple signings, let a couple guys go. Nothing absolutely major, dramatic, but this is the type of signing I would expect them to make in the offseason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, speaking of Chelsea, let's segue into these are officially out. These three players is that what you saw?
Mount isn't 100% official. Azpilicueta and Zakaria are officially out of Chelsea. Mount supposedly, as of today, has actually agreed to wage terms with Man United, even though the teams haven't agreed
Hmm.
on a transfer fee yet. So he's still technically not out of Chelsea, but everything's obviously looking that direction.
Yeah, this list needs to be about 6 players more for Chelsea out at Chelsea. They just have too many guys. Well, I want to know. I haven't looked it up, but have you seen anything about João Felix? Because
Yeah, so
he was
Chelsea
loaned.
said, Chelsea said they don't want him.
Good, smart.
Atletico said they don't want him. So they're looking to loan him out again to whoever would be interested in him.
Oh my god! Oh, it's so good, so good. Oh man! Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Nobody wants this guy. Jesus, where's he gonna
Yeah,
go? I think he
I
could. I
know.
think he can make a big difference for a team that has a finisher, because that's his one.
Yeah,
That's his one thing. He can't finish. He's
yeah,
not good at it. He's good at other stuff. I think he's a soft ass
agreed.
hoe, but he's pretty good.
I feel like I could very easily see him end up on PSG
Ooh,
potentially.
good call.
Uh,
Good
a
call.
place that would pay whatever his wages are. They don't really care about the money. They want a flashy name that'll sell jerseys,
Mm-hmm.
get fans in the
And
seats.
then go out in the
Don't
first
really
round of the
care about
Champions
how
League.
don't really care about how it meshes with the team, and then just lose in the group stage of the Champions League.
Wow, you nailed that. That's gonna happen for sure. Oh my god. Okay, it's June 1st,
Yeah,
and
right. Yeah. How long until the announcement? 2 weeks?
you are. That is so on the money. Oh man, mark it down now. We got it.
Okay, we'll jump over. We're kind of jumping between leagues here. So jump into Serie A real
Yeah,
quick.
that's
So a
okay.
few news updates here. Uh, Vlahovic is the latest rumor going to Bayern as
Interesting.
I think, a fantastic pickup by them if he does that. If they do end up finding a way to get him there, I think a great pickup for that team with all the other positions that they have that are so strong. They really are just lacking that really true number 9 up front. I think he would be wonderful for them.
Yeah, I think that's a great addition. He would thrive there. Thrive
I
there.
also think he'd be great at a few other teams as well, but obviously if Bayern can find a way to pull this out, that would
He's
be
the
great for
type of
them.
guy that Chelsea should target. That's the type of guy they should
Yeah,
target.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. A team like Chelsea, perfect for them.
Chelsea needs that player. Yeah, stupid. Did you also hear?
Okay.
Speaking of Bayern
Yeah.
news, they
Yeah.
fired the CEO and the director of football operations, Oliver Kahn, and I forget the other
Oliver
dude's
Kahn
name.
got fired?
They just won the league.
What?
Yeah, yeah. Let him go.
How does that happen?
It's
Was it after they
possible.
won?
It's possible it was right before they won. Um,
Okay.
who knows how the Instagram feed was going,
I
but
feel like there's no way you could win the league and then let a coach or let a any executive go right now. The week after you won, it must have been before. That's crazy.
yeah, yeah. It blew my mind. Let me see if there's a date on here. Um, yeah, I think this was actually before. I sent it to you on Saturday. So
Wow. So right before. Oh my God.
yeah, FC
Dude, that's
Bayern
kind of
have
messed up.
sacked both CEO Oliver Kahn and sporting director Hassan Salihamidzic. Ooh, that's a tough one. Um,
That's messed
yeah,
up.
that is messed up. It's crazy. So they're just overhauling. Pretty
I
unbelievable.
mean, I don't. I guess maybe there was. I mean, we talked about it earlier where they. This isn't unheard of for Bayern. They fired their coach halfway through the season and bring in Tuchel when they were in the semifinal of the Champions League,
Yes.
and they fire their coach. So I guess we shouldn't not be too surprised with Bayern. But it just makes me think maybe there was something going on with that move with bringing in Tuchel. Maybe Tuchel wants more control, and Khan and them were just like, nope, we're the final say. And the board said, we really do want, Tuchel to have the reins here.
Oh
That
man,
to me seems to be the only reason why this would happen.
that's a good
But
point. Tuchel was
why
probably
wouldn't that
like,
happen?
"Hey, we need to bring in Kai Havertz now," and the other guys were like, "What are
Yeah.
you talking about? No, we
Yeah.
can't do
You're
that.
an idiot.
No, we want to win this league. We want to win." And they're like, "Tuchel's our guy. We're going with it."
But still, why wouldn't you do it? Just do it in the off season. I don't get it, man. So
I don't know, man.
like
High
you can't
stakes.
do it now, but maybe you
People,
could do it, 2 months from now. So yeah,
people get
really interesting
antsy.
news.
Yeah.
So jumping back to Juventus real quick. So other news coming out of Juventus, they're currently appears to be the front runners to try and get Pulisic off of Chelsea.
Drink.
I think the transfer fee is supposedly in the range of 20 million for him. So we shall see where that ends up.
This makes me so sad. This makes me so sad. Yes, I want Pulisic off of Chelsea by any means necessary. But I just want him to start every match. And if he goes to Juve, is he going to start every match? No.
Nope.
He's not. Can't he just go to like Villa? Fucking ball out? Go to Brighton? They're going to be in the Champions League or Europa League.
That would be sick.
Like,
Yeah.
dude, oh,
Yeah.
if I were Pulisic, I would shoot for that. I don't know.
I feel like right now he just feels trapped and he's like anywhere out of Chelsea is good for me. I feel like that's the mood he's got to be in right now.
Yeah,
And then he's like, then I'll figure it out. But this is the absolute worst place I could be in terms of improving myself, in terms of becoming a better player, both for my club team and my national team.
yeah,
It's just he's not in a good position right now, and he just needs to get out. So
yeah. He's
I don't know
really
what else
just
you can do.
left
You
for
got to
dead
go.
on
You got to go
Chelsea's
where you're.
bench.
Yeah, you got to go where you're wanted.
I bet you Brighton would want him.
That would be great.
They
Yeah,
just
if
wouldn't
they end
pay
up getting
him
rid of, say,
the same.
McAllister or Matoma or March, any of those three, slide him in.
Yeah, that's
That'd
what
be
I'm saying.
great.
That's what I'm saying. Okay,
That'd be awesome.
staying in the Premier League, let's talk Tottenham. Marco
Tottenham.
Silva?
So yeah,
Question mark?
Fulham manager.
What happened? I didn't see this. Tell me about it.
Well, Tottenham's obviously in the midst of a heavy coaching search. They need to bring in somebody to lead the team. Uh, right now, there's kind of two directions you can go if you're Tottenham. There's go out on the market, see if you can bring in a proven manager, somebody with, Champions League experience, somebody with title winning experience, Premier League experience, or you go and try and pluck somebody that's on a team that surprised in the last year, that's kind of taken scraps and turned it into riches. And it appears Marco Silva from that latter category has made it onto Tottenham's radar now as one of the potential front runners to come in as coach, which I think would be a total surprise and shock. I was expecting obviously a much bigger name, more proven European name to be coming in. So really interesting news when I saw it that I had to talk to you about what your thoughts were on that.
I think he's a good manager, but what the fuck do I know? You know. Um, I also think that if you're gonna go, I don't want to say cheap on a manager,
Mm-hmm.
but if you're not gonna bring in a big name, you better be saving that money for some big players to bring in. That's all I'll say. You know, you can't short the coach and the players.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Marco Silva with this existing roster, I don't think is doing anything differently. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I mean, we already talked about it. They've got to make changes with they got to bring in some key people. Obviously, whatever happens with Kane is going to be the biggest item to keep an eye on to see what actually is going to change
Yeah, but hey,
for
did you see
their future
they made a
prospects.
mural for him? They made a mural.
Oh, they did,
He's for sure going to
and
stay.
they came out and said we will never sell him to a Premier League rival,
Yeah,
whatever that means.
we'll see. We'll see.
I mean, you can read into that as they won't sell him to Arsenal, but anyone else, not a rival.
For real, right? No London team, but everything else is fine.
Yeah. So we talked about it before, but Tottenham will be for sure one of the main teams that will have rumors swirling about them. We'll definitely be talking about more over the next few months. So a couple more transfers and rumors to go through. First off, we hadn't really talked about it much, but it was officially the sign-off for Busquets and Jordi Alba in Barcelona. I believe Busquets is retiring. Jordi Alba, I think, is probably looking to continue playing but move on to another team. I think Busquets won something like 30 trophies with Barcelona. Some
Crazy.
Ridiculous number.
Crazy.
It is time there. Obviously, one of our least favorite players.
Was he
overrated.
Was he on your starting team?
Oh, he was on both ours, definitely.
I can't stand that guy.
But obviously, to see a trophy haul like he had, you got to give him some respected props for a crazy, successful career and a very long career playing with some really, really great players and managing to keep himself on the field with those guys, with those players.
Yeah, that's what
obviously says a lot about him.
Yeah, it says he was able to stay healthy. Good for you. I could ride Messi's coattails to 30 trophies just the same, you know?
Amen. All right, and then this one really hurt. It really cut me deep to hear this news. But one of my all-time favorite Streets Won't Forget players.
Oh, totally. Italian Streets Won't Forget.
Oh, Napoli Streets will never forget. Marcin Hamšík has officially announced his retirement. The one and only shaved head mohawk midfielder himself. Ultimate boss while he was on Napoli. He's been away from Napoli for a few years now, but officially done with soccer. I just had to give one more shout out. I loved watching him for so many years. I loved his mentality. I loved everything he brought on the field. You will be missed.
Dude, cheers to Hamšík. Dude, he was a boss, as you said.
He was a boss.
Perfectly coined. Absolute boss. What was he? Was he Serbian? What was his nationality?
I think he was
Slovakian.
He was one of those.
Slovakian.
There it is.
Dude, he was a boss. He's our age. Slightly older. But it's all
that one hurts. That one cuts deep. But definitely we'll be making an appearance on one of our top 11s when we go through best hairstyles and haircuts of all time.
100%. He might even captain that team.
Yeah.
Great hair.
He led the way for a decade there. He was the leader in the world for hairstyle. So amazing. R.I.P. to you, Hamšík. Not in real life, but in the soccer world. And hope to look back on highlights of you and enjoy your hairstyle. All right, the last rumor, saved for the end, Messi rumors. I don't know which rumors you've heard. There's multiple rumors that are floating around. Just to give some background, you talked about it. I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but how fans were pissed about Messi and then also pissed at Neymar at the same time, which was a funny story. So the two main rumors I've seen for Messi. The first one is that Man United is very interested in him and would potentially go there. I think we actually talked about this a little bit. Oh no, we talked about Neymar last time. But Messi also supposedly linked with Man U. What are your thoughts on that?
Of course they're interested in him. Who wouldn't be interested in Messi? Like, from a playing perspective, I don't know whose position he takes. Probably just kicks Weghorst off the team and maybe moves Rashford up to the 9 spot. I don't know. I don't know how that would go, but you find space for Messi. I don't care how old he is. He's gonna help the team.
Yeah,
So yeah. So yeah.
So the more concrete rumor that I've seen is that both Barcelona and Inter Miami are working together to sign Messi to play one more season at Barcelona and then transition to Inter Miami for the twilight of his career after one last farewell season at Barcelona.
So I am currently on the wait list for season tickets for the newest MLS franchise. And I just want to have a message as a future season ticket holder for the San Diego, whatever the fuck they're going to call themselves. If you want to be a legitimate league, stop taking guys that are in the twilights of their career, that are in retirement, overpaying for them just to get like fair weather fans into the seats to sell tickets. You know, if you want to be a legitimate league, get some legitimate players in their primes, pay for those guys, make the quality of play better, get some fields that aren't AstroTurf, and maybe we'll consider you, and maybe the league will improve. That's it. It's just It's just a money grab. It's just a money grab to get Messi. It's stupid. I hate it.
It is. I don't like it. I think he should go back to Barcelona. I don't think he only has 1 year left. I think he's got 2 or 3 years left, I feel like. So I wouldn't want him to just jump to that conclusion now that this is what he needs to do. I would wait for that decision later. So I'm not a big fan of it. And I agree with you 100%. The MLS really does need to look at themselves in the mirror and be like, if we want to be popular, we want to be like these other leagues, we need to act like these other leagues. We can't act like we're the retirement community, where we're the senior living district, where you have to be 55 plus to buy a house.
Yeah.
Act like you belong, and eventually you'll get there. Yeah. You got to do all the things that the other leagues are doing to get to that level.
Watch our washed up stars.
Yeah. It's just I don't think it's a good move for the MLS, but I do see him eventually coming here, but I think he's got a few years left before he does that.
Yeah. Okay. Those are all the rumors. Whew. Quite a few there. We haven't even started our main event. We already hit an hour. Ooh, we might need to break this baby up, but we don't do that. We do one take only. We're going into the team of the season. Let's go.
Straight into it, baby.
All right. So here's how we're going to do this thing. This is a tentative formation. We are going to bring up players that we think should be on the Premier League team of the season. We're going to debate it, decide what we think collectively should be the team of the season. Now, I think you will agree with me that there are a few players that are absolute shoo-ins that need to be on here. One of them is right here, Erling Haaland. If he's not on your Premier League team this season, you didn't watch. Agreed?
Agreed, 100%. First name on the sheet.
First name on the sheet. Second striker. Now, this isn't as much of a slam dunk, maybe for some, but I think it's got to be Harry Kane. Agreed?
Amen. Okay. Same with me.
Okay, Kane. Add him on here.
So good. Even on a team that's underperforming for the levels that they should be at, still manages to find a way to score 30 goals in the season. He almost averaged a goal a game.
He's insane.
And on a team that's struggled. Like he's so unbelievably good, even as he's getting slightly older and not as maybe quick as he used to be. Still scoring 30 goals in a season. It feels like he's getting undervalued and underrated, even though he has been talked about for so long. And we got to give him his props.
I can't remember the game. It was sometime in the last month, one of the last 3 or 4 matches. He had a ball kind of like, it wasn't like a clean cross, kind of popped out to him, and he was maybe a few feet behind the penalty spot, and he kind of did like a half volley and he missed it. And I was more shocked than anything because I was like, he buries it every single time. He just always finishes like a half chance. He's fucking anything in the box. It's like, oh, that's in. Oh, that's got to be in. Like, it's insane. And it's always in with pace and power. He's incredible.
Yeah, I feel like he's one of the most confident strikers I've ever seen. Like maybe he's not the best, but the way he plays the game, like kicks the ball, attacks the ball, scores, he just knows he's going to score. Like it's just supreme confidence in his abilities.
See,
and every chance that falls his way, really good chance of it going in.
we like English players. Look at that. We got an English player on there. And
yeah, come on, guys.
I think everyone else in the country is a B plus. Harry Kane, A fucking plus. That guy is a stud.
Well, quick teaser. I have 2 other English players on my team.
Yeah, I do too. Okay. Okay.
3. I have 3 other ones.
Now, I'll just put him in this position for now, but we can move it around later. So I think KDB's got to be on this. Agreed?
Yep. He's on mine. Yep.
There he is. Boom. Best player in the world. Let's go. Okay.
All right.
After this, I feel like there can be some interpretation.
Yeah. I feel like there's one more that just based off the season is pretty much, I think, would be on most everybody's teams, including yours.
Okay.
I think it's Odegaard.
Correct. Now, this is where should we put him? Should we drop him on the outside, maybe in this position?
So I had the 3 in the middle flipped. I had a defender, a defensive midfielder, and then 2 attacking. So I had De Bruyne and Odegaard as my attacking mids. So I'm playing more of a 3-1-4-2, basically, is what I'm playing.
I think I can do that. Whoa, that moved really weird. But yeah,
and then move De Bruyne there, and then Odegaard. Here.
Yeah, I think that's a slam dunk.
I think after that it gets a little bit more debatable, but he had a fantastic year captaining Arsenal to. We talked about it before, one of their most surprisingly successful seasons they've had in a really long time. He looked like a captain. He has the skill to back it up. Very much deserving to be on this team.
Agreed. Okay, who do you think? Let's do an outside mid here. I think there's a few choices. I kind of want to talk this one through because I think I am maybe not in the majority on this one. I think it's got to be at least one of these 2 players, though. It's either got to be Rashford or Saka or both. But both of them cannot be left off.
Yeah. So I put Saka on mine.
Okay, so we agree on that one. Okay, so let's put him on the right.
Yeah. I have Rashford as an honorable mention on my team.
Okay, I was borderline with Rashford, but he had great numbers, and I almost second guessed it because they didn't have a true goal scorer, and he became that for them. He carried them. He was on fire for 2 months, and he just carried them through. I don't want to say rough times because I don't know. He kept them in it, but
they kept them in the European spots for sure.
They didn't score that many goals. It was Rashford and then a few goals here and there from the rest of the team, but it was Rashford that really carried them. So I felt like it at least needed to be talked through.
He was very important for his team. Whether or not you think he's on this list of the best team of the season, he was extremely important for Man U through some times when they were shaky, like you're talking about, when they had some serious struggles. So he was actually on my team. When I made the decision that I needed to include a defensive midfielder, I decided to pull him off the team.
Okay.
And bring in a defensive midfielder, make him an honorable mention. So that he was just like you. I mean, he was right there, borderline for me on my team.
So who
I
else?
don't think you're going to agree with my left mid, though.
Is it Matoma?
It's Matoma.
You love Matoma.
I love Matoma.
I love Matoma too, and I like McAllister more than Matoma, but that doesn't mean I dislike Matoma. Let's put him on.
Okay.
We can change it if
I
we
feel
want.
like that the debate could be made there because Rashford really does play on the left side mostly, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you could put Rashford there, Matoma, McAllister's more in the middle, but we could find a way to fit him in.
Yeah.
McAllister was also one of my honorable mentions, both Rashford and McAllister. So we're all like in the same neighborhood with those three guys, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, central defensive midfielder. I think majority of people would say Rodri here. I want to place a vote for Casemiro. I know he wasn't there the whole year.
Yep.
Man, did he have a huge impact. We talked about the impact that Rashford had. He was the other guy on United that just carried them. He was fantastic. I just feel like, I don't know.
He's a class player. To be honest myself, I immediately discounted him being that he came in halfway through the season. So that was just in my book, he's a great player, but I set him aside. So for me, it actually came down to two names. I had both Rodri as well as Polina from Fulham, who I thought had a fantastic year. A little bit unsung. We talked about before, I think he led the league in tackles. He was up there with Tyler Adams, and then Tyler Adams got hurt.
Yeah.
And I think he ran away with the lead in tackles for the season. The few games that he was out for Fulham, they got dominated. I mean, I think I watched two different games where he didn't play, and they just did not look the same. But I still turned around and came back to Rodri and put Rodri in on my team because I think he was so solid from the start to the end.
I had him on my team too, and I think it's the right choice.
Yeah.
I would love
think
to
it's
go
the right
against
choice.
the grain and go Paulinho, but Rodri was so good this year. Okay, I like that midfield. I like that. Okay,
Middle,
so
really.
defenders. Trying to remember who I had on the outside. I know I had Trippier as one of my outside backs.
Same.
Okay,
Right back.
We can agree on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Tremendous defensive season for Newcastle as a whole, and he was a big part of it.
And
obviously.
such a threat on free kicks, corner kicks. Like
Absolutely.
he's such an asset to have on the team. Like well-rounded. There's a lot, like we talked about before, England has a lot of good right backs.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, they have so many.
But he might be the best all around, if you know what I'm saying. Like kind of doing everything.
Yeah, he can do a little bit of everything for sure.
Yeah.
I had trouble with the left back. I wanted to put my boy Robertson on there, but I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I feel like it wasn't his best season, even though I still love him. I really, I wanted to put Zinchenko on here solely because I think he just made such a huge difference for Arsenal, getting them to the next level. But I am open to discussion on someone else here.
So I had Zinchenko as an honorable mention. So this is where I think I struggled the most, was trying to figure out what to do with left back. I resorted to saying Newcastle was such a strong team defensively. I have to include a center back from Newcastle. We already have Trippier on the right, but he's really not really a center back, right? He's more of a wing back. So I ended up choosing Botman for my left back, which you can argue all you want, but I just needed to give some recognition to the central defense.
You didn't want to put him
Newcastle.
in the middle? Who'd you put in the middle then?
I have Diaz in the middle. You could put either of them in the middle. I think either of them could play left or right.
Those were the two best defenses in the
Yeah.
in the Premier League, so I'm cool with it.
Okay. I think Zinchenko, like if we were playing a true 4 at the back, I think Zinchenko would be the left back. I agree with you there.
Yeah.
Being that we're playing 3, it's got to be more of a central guy, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I would go with probably that combo.
Wait, where is he? Where's our boy? Ruben. I don't see him. Is it
It's with
TS
a, I
with
think
an
it's with
S?
a, it's with a S. Yeah.
Those Portuguese.
There he is.
Okay. Goalie, I think this could go a lot of ways too. I think there's probably, I would say 4 that I would be okay with. Goalie is a tough one to evaluate, compare.
Yeah.
But I went Pope with mine.
I would.
You went Pope too?
I would Pope.
Let's go. All right. Yeah, that Newcastle defense was just fantastic. Oh, look at that image he's got. Perfect. I like this squad. I think this is good. Okay, let me bring up. I sent it to you, but you didn't see it. So, Alan Shearer, legend of the game, did his Premier League team of the season. You ready for this?
Okay, I'm ready.
We actually had a lot of similar. I actually agreed with a lot of these. I feel like his team of the season last year, if I remember right, was just laughable.
Okay.
And this one is better. So he had Harry, Kane, and Haaland up top, same as us. He had Odegaard, De Bruyne, and he had Rashford. Those were his 3 midfielders, attacking midfielders.
Okay.
He had Rodri behind them, so we got that. He had 4 at the back. He had Trippier, we have. Then he had John Stones, which is one of the biggest homer picks I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And then he had Saliba from Arsenal. And then he had a Stupinian from Brighton, which I like that pick.
Yeah, I like that pick too.
Saliba was hurt a lot, so I feel like, whatever. And then he had Pope as the goalie, same as us. So, very similar.
Yeah, Saliba was hurt near the end of the season, so kind of recency bias. It's hard to think of him, right, in the team, being that we hadn't really seen him. I actually have here, I have Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville's teams as well.
Let's go. Let's hear it.
Just to compare. So they went with a 4-3-3 formation. So they got 4 at the back as well, but only 3 mid, 3 attack. So they obviously both have Haaland. Gary Neville went with Saka and Martinelli on both of the wings outside of Haaland, while Jamie Carragher went with Salah, homer pick, and Kane.
You know, it's hard to go against Salah. They had just such a shit start of the year, but he's
still so good.
He's still so good, man. What was he, like third in the league in scoring, something like that? Like, it's not a bad pick. Like, I thought about it. I thought about putting him here, but for whatever reason,
it's kind of the classic. Just like Harry Kane, you become so used to it that you're not impressed anymore. Yeah. You're just like, oh yeah, he should do that, and you just kind of get desensitized to it, and then you like take a step back.
The team underperformed a little bit is like, oh well, he doesn't deserve it then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, really, really annoying. So they both went with the same exact midfield. So they also have Odegaard and De Bruyne like us, and Rodri in the midfield. So they match our take there. And then on defense, they both have Trippier. They both have Diaz, just like us.
Nice.
Jamie Carragher also went with Botman, like we did.
Let's go.
And then Zinchenko on the left. So very much thinking the way we think. Gary Neville went with Saliba and Estupiñán. So as you talked about with Shearer as well.
Sure. All right.
And then Gary Neville went with Pope, like we did in goal. And Jamie Carragher with the homer pick, Alisson in goal for Liverpool.
You can't be like, oh, that's a stupid pick. You know, like,
I know it's hard to pick between them all.
Yeah, I get it. All right, so I feel like we did a good job, and I feel like they did a pretty good job too, as far as not going crazy. Sometimes those guys go wild with their stuff.
Yeah, no, it seemed real, right? It didn't seem totally out of the box. So
yeah. Nice. So this is I feel like, what do we got? All these guys coming back next season in the Premier League. I think even if
I was
Kane
about to ask you
leaves,
that. I was like,
he's
I was gonna
probably gonna
say,
stay in the
of
Premier League.
all the players on the team, who do you think is the most likely to be on a different team next season?
It's Kane.
And I
It's
think
got to be Kane.
there's only two options there, either Matoma or Kane, I think.
Oh, Matoma too. Yeah, I hope he
Yeah.
stays, but I could see him going. Um, Everyone else, they're staying, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
They're set in stone.
It's interesting. What's also interesting
All
is
right.
we have two Norwegians on this team that did not qualify for
Dude,
the World Cup.
I know. The future looks bright
Isn't that
for
amazing?
Norway.
And then
Really, really cool for them.
we have four English players, counting the goalie,
Yep.
and one Spanish player, one Portuguese. What is Botman? What is that?
Dutch.
Dutch. That's right.
Yeah.
And the Matoma Japanese. Let's go.
Japanese shout out, baby.
Shout out Japan, dude. I loved
That's
Japan.
awesome.
Was my team in the World Cup, man.
Oh, they were great.
They were that
That was
close.
fun to
They were
watch.
that close.
Mm-hmm. You're playing so well. Okay, so I was gonna hit you. Obviously, we went through our team of the season. I had found an article that was based off of statistical analysis. Who was the worst team of the season
The worst?
for the worst? I'll drink for that
Drink
one.
for that one. Dang, that was a good one.
Oh man. I sounded pretty German there. Worst?
Worst? Weghurst?
Oh god.
Sorry, what was the question?
So let me start over for you. So I found an article with a statistical analysis of what was the worst Premier League team of the season. And I just wanted to read this out for you to get your take on the.
How does that determined?
So basically, every game that's played through this website, they give a rating to players and it's based on their position, what their stats are, how they performed. They get a score rating. I think it's between like 1 and 10 or something, basically. And so these are the players that had the lowest average score across the whole season by position. So not subjective, but from an objective viewpoint, what was the worst team of the season? And I'll quickly read this for you. So it's starting in goal. We had Gavin Bazunu from Southampton. In defense, no surprise here, we have two Leeds players.
I was going to say the entire Leeds back line.
We have Junior Firpo at left, and then Robin Koch in center.
Dude, he was so
and then
bad. He was so bad.
He's terrible. And then we have Langley from Tottenham also in the center.
Oh, interesting.
And then Adam Smith from Bournemouth on the right. In the midfield, so this formation is a 4-2-3-1. So we have two sort of holding defensive midfielders in this formation. Both of them are the Nottingham Forest holding midfielders, which I thought was pretty funny. Freuler and Mangala both were the worst of the year in those positions, yet they still managed to stay up in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Moving up to the three attacking midfielders, we have El Yanusi on the left from Southampton, Decadorva Reed on the right from Fulham, and Aronson in the middle from Leeds.
He was terrible, man. He was
bad. He was really bad.
It hurts me to say it.
And then leading up front at striker, once again from Leeds, Patrick Bamford.
He was shit too. It's true.
He was terrible.
He looked bad too. You know what I mean? Like he
had no confidence.
Yeah, it was gross. I feel like they should have just rolled Rodrigo up there and not even played Bamford, but yeah,
really, really bad. So
rough one.
I thought it was a funny take on the exercise we just did. I wanted to share it with you. I think all deserving.
Yeah, I was hoping there'd be like one guy from like a big club or someone from up top, but it's basically the bottom feeders.
Yeah, I mean, really, if you look at it, I mean, seeing somebody from both Tottenham and Fulham is pretty unusual. I mean, those were both, teams in the middle to top part of the league.
True.
But yeah, everyone else kind of expected, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Um,
Oh, right.
okay,
Trivia.
I don't have much trivia for you. I kind of
Okay.
threw one at you already. I do
Yeah.
have one that I thought was interesting.
Okay.
Since
Hit me.
2016, this is Premier League only. The net spend of all the clubs since 2016. So that's 7 years.
Okay.
Who do you think's number one? Actually, why don't you try to list the top three?
Number one top for the last 6 years. I would Chelsea, what they did recently, I feel like has to be on there.
They're number two.
I think Man United.
That's the one. Man United
That's
number
number
one.
one.
£902 million. Chelsea number
Not
two.
Yeah.
£830 million.
Okay. Not net spend, but just like total actual spend for players, not subtracting anything they sold. Yeah. I would think Man United, but it could be like Liverpool or someone, number three. I mean, Man
United.
City, I meant.
Yeah.
I meant Man City.
Man
Yeah.
City number three. And they won the title like almost every year.
Yeah.
Now, this is where it gets interesting to me.
Okay.
So Man City was 667 million. Almost 300 million less than Man United. Yet they've had way more success. Then we go 4, 5, 6. Arsenal in fourth. 638, right behind Man City. Almost the same. West Ham, number 5. That hurts.
Ouch.
£431 million. Just behind them at 427, Tottenham.
Ouch.
Number 7, Newcastle. Number 8, Wolves. Number 9, Aston Villa, 332 million. And then in number 10 at 268 million. Can you think of the team that I haven't named yet? Number 10.
Did you say Liverpool?
Liverpool. Liverpool's only 268 million pounds. That is a fraction of the top 5.
That's wild.
Right?
They don't spend money.
Stacked.
They don't spend money.
And they have a hell of a coach.
Dude, that's how much, having a good coach and like a name as a club, right? And a legacy as a club just attracts players to you. Like to think I'm going to go play for Liverpool is like the dream of players. And that's enough with a coach like Klopp to not have to spend big and to get good players. That's really interesting to look at it that way.
And to get
I'm shocked. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I thought they'd be top 5.
Right? The fact that West Ham was 5th blew my mind.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised with how much they spent this last year, but it's just atrocious when you look at their performance.
They had to fight their way
crazy.
out of a relegation battle.
It's crazy, like how much you can how bad you can mess up with such large sums of money.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how finicky and unsure it is to judge players, right? And to scout correctly and to gauge success.
Throw so much money at a young player and have them not amount to anything.
It's crazy.
It's just you're just throwing money in the garbage. Look at who they just buy. Scamacca?
Yeah.
Is he gonna play on the team ever again? I don't know. Look pretty terrible to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any
That's
other
all I had.
trivias?
That's all I had.
Okay.
I threw mine at you earlier.
Okay. So speaking of talking about dollars, so I had a list here. I introduced you with a question earlier talking about Leicester City on total wage spend. So this isn't how much you spent on bringing players in like you just went through, but this is sort of the annual dollar amount you're spending on player wages.
Mm-hmm.
First question is, can you guess the top team in Europe for wages?
Oh, Europe. Okay, outside England.
Yeah, this is all of Europe.
It's got to be Real Madrid, right?
They're number 2.
Hmm. Is it Bayern?
No, they're number 9.
Ooh. Is it Man United?
They're number 3.
Holy shit. Is it Man City? Man City?
They're number 6.
I
Think
mean,
of a
I,
club with a lot of money,
I
not a
mean,
lot of success.
I can think of a lot of them. PSG?
PSG,
Oh my god.
$729 million of wage spend.
And yet people are still
Insane.
pursuing Neymar. Crazy.
All right. So my next question is, do you think Newcastle or Leicester City have a higher wage bill?
I would guess Newcastle, but the fact that you're asking me this question makes me think that it's Leicester City.
It's Leicester City.
Damn, that hurts. That hurts.
So another interesting take on your question, your question that you asked. Do you think West Ham or Everton have a higher wage?
Oh, it's got to be West Ham, right? How would it not be?
Everton,
How? Who the fuck are they paying?
$191 million of wage spend versus 160 for West Ham.
Wow, that's crazy.
Crazy. Okay, next one. Do you think AC Milan or Tottenham have a higher wage bill?
Tottenham.
It is Tottenham
Yeah.
by $76 million.
Holy shit.
They're not just a little bit above. They're spending way more than a team like AC Milan.
And yet,
Okay, next
AC
one.
Milan almost made the Champions League final. It's amazing.
Almost made it. Okay, last one from this list. A shout out to the Europa League final that just happened. AS Roma or Sevilla, who has a higher wage spend?
You know, I didn't realize Sevilla had the players that they have. So I'm going to go Sevilla.
It's actually Roma
Really?
by over $30 million.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw Sevilla. I was like, man, I haven't watched much Spanish league this year.
They got some good
They
players.
got some good players on their team.
They do. Okay. Yeah, so that was a fun little check-in on wages. So next one I had, this isn't really a trivia question or one question for you. But I saw an interview with De Bruyne, and he was asked, who is the best striker you've ever played with?
Wait, when was this? When was this interview?
It was this season.
Okay, it wasn't pre Holland.
It was with Holland there. Who do you think his answer was?
Dude,
So he's played with
I know.
players
Oh
like
no,
Lukaku on the national team. He's played with players like Haaland, Aguero, all these guys. Who do you think is the best in his eyes?
it's got to be my boy Sergio.
You are 100% correct.
He's the best, dude. Sergio Aguero is the fucking best. Sergio Aguero, I wish you were still playing.
Here's his quote. Honestly, he is probably the best all-around striker I've played with. Just everything. He had speed, power, could go deep, could come short, could shoot with left and right foot, headers. He was unbelievable. So good.
He was, dude. This is why I fucking love Kevin De Bruyne, man. He knows. He gets it.
He knows.
Sergio Aguero is the fucking best. I fucking loved him. When him and Edin Dzeko were on the same team, my mind was like exploding. It was so sick. Fucking love those guys. Dude, he was so good. He could do it all. And like a lot like we were talking about Harry Kane, I felt that way about Sergio Aguero is like when he got a shot that he was in the box, didn't matter where, I immediately, once it left his foot, thought it was going in. Because
Yeah,
it usually
no, it's
was.
a good. It's so funny because stature-wise, it's such a dichotomy,
Mm-hmm.
but it's the same type of confidence that you see with both those guys. You think he's going to score
And they usually
when he's
did.
on the ball. Yep. Yeah, so just tagging onto that one. So a stat just to shout out about De Bruyne. We already talked about how he was one of the first names on the team sheet. Fantastic player, one of the best in the world.
The best in the world.
He is now the first player in Premier League history to lead the league in assists in 4 different seasons. So he now holds that record for the most seasons leading the league in assists. He led with 18 in 2016-17, 16 in 17-18, 20 assists in 19-20, and then 16 more this year in 22-23.
Damn. That's crazy.
Fantastic.
He's so good, dude. And it's not only the assist. I wish they did hockey assists in soccer.
I know. I wish there was something.
There are some.
Call it something else, but
it doesn't need to always apply if it doesn't really have anything to do with the goal. But there are
they do have that big chances created or whatever stat that we don't know how it's actually judged, but
right.
maybe
I need better definition of that.
I need to know what that really means, right?
Exactly. But there are so many times where he creates an attack off of nothing other than just his vision and playing somebody into space, and that person could easily like cross it the other way or whatever. Like he creates so many chances for his team. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, next question for you. There is one team in the Premier League this season that did not receive a single penalty kick. Can you guess this team?
I mean, total shot in the dark here. Southampton?
No.
Yeah, I just went with the bottom team. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Who is it?
Crystal Palace, 0 penalty kicks. The only team
what?
with 0 penalty kicks on the season.
You know, speaking of Crystal Palace, we didn't talk about it because he shouldn't be on the team this season. But I think he deserves mention that Elise had an amazing year. Amazing year.
Yeah. I mean, he's great. I mean, he's so young. He's just, it feels like he's going to get sold in a year or so, right? But yeah, he's great.
He's fantastic. He had a fantastic year. He reminds me of like, honestly, I think he could be like a better Ozil.
I can see that. Yeah. I feel like he hasn't really gotten, even being on a team like Crystal Palace where it's like, oh, this should be a great place to shine. I just feel like he hasn't been put in the situations to really shine. Like he's on a team that has to play really sort of defensive and like formation based. And it feels like if he had the freedom to just kind of do what his game does, I feel like he could be even better. And he hasn't really had the opportunity to show it, I feel like.
Yeah. But like you said, he'll probably go to a bigger club because I think he's got the talent for it. He looked fantastic this year.
Yeah, he's great. Okay, last trivia question for you. This borderline's real or fake, but I'll tell you right now it's real.
Okay.
So this is going to be a quote that I'm going to read from a Premier League goalie. I have the superstition of wearing the same underwear every game.
I have one guess and one guess only. It's got to be Jordan Pickford, right?
Incorrect.
Damn it.
2 more guesses.
He seems like such a fucking nut job, that guy. Um, well, shit. Now who do I think it is? Like I said, I only had one guess. It had to be Pickford. Let's go with. Let's go with. Fuck, I don't know. Sa. Let's go with Sa. He had a great year. Maybe it was the underwear.
Nope.
No? Damn. Who?
Ederson.
Mm.
Premier League winning goalie.
Okay. Okay. Same underwear.
So here's
all year,
here's the full quote. I have the superstition of wearing the same underwear every game. It's one per season because it wears out a lot. In the first year at Benfica, it was like this. When I played, I wore it. And in the last 8 years, I've won 7 league titles.
That's ridiculous.
Do wash my underwear after every game.
Well,
so it isn't.
So.
I hope so. That was my immediate question when I read that. But he did confirm, yes, it is washed, but I will wear the same pair for the entire season, each season.
Oh my god.
A little bit of obscure trivia for you there.
Nice. Well, I didn't want to cut you off there, but I think we might have had a technical difficulty a little bit. You cut out for a second.
Okay.
It happened earlier. I didn't know if it was on my end or your end, but it definitely, I didn't hear anything for a minute, so I'm going to just drink to that technical difficulty.
I hope you just missed my entire question then. That'd be great.
No, I got the question. No, it was just it was just for like a second.
The description. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll take a drink too then. All right. Do you want to hit some would you rathers?
Yeah. Again, I don't have any for you, so we'll make up the ones that I messed up last week with my huge technical difficulty.
It was minor. Come on.
We only recorded for like 20 minutes on mute, but it's all good. We'll try it again.
Okay. I'm going to try to remember where I hit you from.
It was right after the Casemiro story. So this is it.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to just remember the first one I asked you last time. So, okay, I think I got it now. Okay. Yeah. So, first question of the Would You Rather section of the show. At their fastest, who would win in a race? Kylian Mbappe or Thierry Henry?
Kylian Mbappe.
I agree with you. I also chose Kylian Mbappe. The poll actually has Thierry Henry with a slight edge at 53% versus 47%.
That's close.
Very close. Essentially 50-50 between those guys. I think a race that would be really, really fun to watch, though.
That would be awesome, yeah.
That would be awesome, yeah. Okay. Next question. Which of these Jose Mourinho teams was the best? Was it his Champions League winning Porto side? Was it his Chelsea team from the aughts? Was it his Champions League winning Inter Milan team? Or was it his Real Madrid team?
Honestly, that Inter team doesn't get enough credit. That team was really, really good.
Really good.
But his Chelsea team was so dominant. I think I have to go Chelsea, and then I'd probably go Inter second. I doubt that is what the world picked, but that's what I would go with.
I flipped it myself. I chose Inter first, and then the Chelsea team second. That Chelsea team, I think they still hold the record for the least goals allowed in a season.
Yeah, it was stupid.
They were unreal.
Extremely low.
But that Inter, we talked about it before, that Inter team was just so legendary and so much fun. Just, it's always going to stick with me.
Dude, I could name that
so
whole
I chose
roster.
Inter. They were also the overwhelming winner in this pool at 43%. Real Madrid was actually number 2 at 25, but Chelsea right behind it at 22%, and then the Porto team in last place.
Yeah, I mean, they're all great teams, but that Inter team was so sick, dude. That's why when you gave me that Schneider Ozil question from a couple weeks back, I was like, dude, Ozil's not even in the same ballpark as Schneider. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, straight up.
Different
No, we talked
leagues,
about that
man.
before.
Different leagues.
Okay, I think I did that one. I did those already. Oh, okay. I don't think I did this one with you. Which Premier League midfielder would you want as your captain?
Stevie
Is it
G.
Steven Gerrard?
Stevie G. Done.
Is it Patrick Vieira? Is it Roy Keane? Steven Gerrard takes home second place at 30%. I chose Roy Keane. He wins at 44%. And Patrick Vieira in third at 25%. I feel like you can't really go wrong
No, you can't.
either of those ways.
Vieira, he qualifies as well.
Okay, another quick one that I think is very obvious. We've already talked about this. What is the best team to ever lose a Champions League final? Is it the 1997 Juventus team? Is it the 2005 AC Milan team? Is it the 2012 Bayern Munich team? Or is it the 2021 Man City team?
That
I
2021
think
Man City team was insane. I will say
they
that.
were really good.
Insane. They should have won, if you ask me.
They should have won.
That AC Milan team, was it 05? Is that what you said?
05.
That team, I put that team up against any team in history.
Anybody.
And
Yeah.
I feel like in a two-leg competition, they come out on top. That team was so stacked. Unbelievable. That's got to be it.
Overwhelming winner there, 66% for that AC Milan team.
That team
So
was
good.
so good. So good.
The Man City team is in second place, but at a measly 16%, 50% behind the AC Milan team.
Yeah, that's right. I actually agree with the people. That's right. I agree.
Okay, next question for you. Which is the best ever non-British Premier League manager? Is it Arsene Wenger? Is it Jose Mourinho? Is it Jurgen Klopp? Is it Pep Guardiola?
Oof. It's tough because we still have some active coaches, so it's like
Yeah.
their career's not over yet. If you're going based off, resume. Oh man. I feel like Pep gets a little too much credit. I hate to be that guy, but I feel like they're like, oh, Pep's GOAT, And his resume is better than anybody's. He's done it in
Unreal.
multiple places.
His resume is better than anybody else on the list.
For sure. But he's also had some insane rosters. Insane rosters. Having said all that, I still got to pick Pep. But I'm going to go Klopp number 2 just because I fucking love Klopp. How do you not want to play for that guy? It's like if I had the ability to pick my coach, I would pick Klopp. 100%.
Yeah. Okay, so the winner was Pep at a strong 52%. Second was actually Mourinho at 27%. I chose Wenger at 15%. I wouldn't like him as my manager, but his longevity, and the only guy on this list that had an undefeated season, the Invincible season, I got to give him his props.
No, that's
and Jurgen Klopp dead last at 5%.
Yeah, that was more with my heart than what I.
Yeah, it's tough to live up to that.
He's probably got another 10 years of coaching in him,
Yeah. Oh, easily. Okay, my last one for you. Who was the craziest? So you probably don't really know two of these guys too well, but I know from watching past videos and people talk about them that they were really crazy. Number 1 is Paul Gascoigne.
Gascoigne.
Who was supposedly like the most talented English player of all time, but was just a complete animal, loose cannon that could never be kind of tamed to put it all out on the field. Paulo Di Canio.
Yeah, I know the name, but I couldn't tell you.
Who is one of the most sort of like passionate, emotional players that ever played. That would just, he could go from scoring the craziest skill goal to getting a red card in 2 minutes. Mario Balotelli. And the best part is the picture that they use is the one where he's pulling his shirt over his head and it says, "Why always me?"
You mean my profile picture for our fantasy?
You know. And last but not least, Diego Maradona.
Man.
With his raging, this picture of him, I wish I could describe it for you, but he looks like he's about to eat the cameraman's face off in this picture.
Just yacked out of his mind.
Just total yak.
Dude. Oh man, what a great list. Well, like you said, I can't really go with the two older guys that I really can't speak to. I feel like I can speak to Maradona because I watched that documentary. Have you watched that documentary yet?
I did.
Oh
I
my god! Thank God,
it's
dude!
crazy.
It is wild. It's got to be him because he was just doing blow like crazy. There's video of him. You can find it on YouTube. It's there.
Yeah,
doing
at the
bumps,
World Cup,
doing bumps on the field, on the fucking field.
That's right. I forgot about that.
There are videos I've seen. Fool comes out that he scores a goal. They're in like a celebration of a group. The video I saw, and like it's
some guy runs up with like a bag.
Guy, like gets in there and just like gives him a little off the hand, and it's just like not hiding it at all. I was like, can you fucking imagine nowadays?
That's so classic 80s right there.
Oh my god.
So I also picked Maradona. He does win the poll at 41%. Balotelli with a strong showing in second place at 35%, right behind him. Respectable showing by him. And then Gascoigne at 15 and Di Canio at 10. So great list there.
We should do a segment. We should do a segment one day where it's just Balotelli stories. I think we could do one.
That would be awesome. Just follow his career and the drama that followed him from start to finish.
A Balotelli saga, and just
it'll be like a 3-parter. I feel like
That's the documentary that they need to make.
They need to make that.
Dude, I remember
everything he did, man.
Dude, he had the dumbest fucking quote where he was talking about racism, and then about like how racist something was, and then he was like, all the best players are African. I'm like,
you don't get it, dude.
Oh, it's like, oh my god. Okay, Balotelli, just keep doing Balotelli things.
What a legend, man. I'm just thinking back to that. Yeah, we got to do that because that era with him was just like, this guy is just the ultimate lightning rod of our generation.
When he got pinched by Mancini.
He was so good and just so terrible at the same time.
He had moments where like he would just lose. I don't want to say focus because it wasn't focus, but just like
his mind.
Yeah, he would lose his mind, but he would also just like completely botch like the gravity of the situation and act like it was like a training ground, or like he was fucking around with his friends, and you were like, dude, you can't do that. What are you doing? Yeah. You can't try a Rabona in that situation. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I love it, man. Oh, he was so good. And he was part of that Inter team we talked about. That was awesome.
Yeah. Dude, that team was so stacked.
So good.
Dude,
all right, well, that's all I got for Would You Rathers. We'll definitely bring some more back in the coming weeks as we head into the off season. Any parting words from you, Austin?
I just want to cheers to ourselves and salute you and myself because holy shit, we almost did 2 full hours and
Not
the season's fucking over.
not only that, we made it through an entire season.
We did it.
We did.
We
I
stuck
think
to talking to each other about soccer every week for an entire year, and I gotta say, it's been fucking awesome.
It's been a ton of fun.
Yeah.
I actually did a little bit of stat digging. I just wanted to share this with you because I went back and looked. So I believe across this season, we did somewhere in the range of, I think, 33 or 35 videos. We have officially crossed the 50-hour mark of talking to each other about soccer on YouTube. So we've been talking about soccer for many, many hours before we started doing this and recording it live. But we officially crossed the 50-hour threshold. So congrats to you for sticking through, listening
awesome.
to my BS.
Yeah, if
and my questionable takes.
If anyone is listening at this point, which I highly, highly doubt. Thank you for listening. We are on YouTube and on Apple Podcast. We do this for ourselves, but if you like it, fuck yeah. We're probably going to be good friends. And hopefully we can buy you a beer someday and talk about how shitty Busquets is as a player. That's what I'd like to do.
And how much we hate John Terry.
Thank God he's retiring. Jesus Christ. Finally people can stop saying he's the most underrated player of all time. Drives me fucking nuts.
Yeah, let's drink to that. We'll go out drinking to that.
Cheers.
Cheers to you, Busquets. We'll see you next week.